they kind of just fall short, and then they think it doesn't work for them, or they think it's the technology's fault, or they think it's their, maybe it's a traffic problem and things like that. So there's all sorts of things that they experience that they feel are the issue. And then, come to realize that it's not, it's kind of a larger systemic problem. And webinars, have them a part of a good system, they can be life-changing, game-changing. And we've just seen this. And for me, I started off as a course creator, and I could never sell my courses online until I started using webinars. So for me personally, I went through a period where I was about to lose my house. I went from a real estate job, and then this will age me, but in the recession, the first one, and they're saying we're not in a recession now, I guess.
No,
the first recession, I was in a real estate job, and then I was a loan broker basically, and then overnight that career ended, and so I had to figure out something else. And so I went from making a job that was making good six-figure income to making like $15,000 the next year, and my house started going into foreclosure, and I had to figure something else out. And so I jumped into kind of online marketing and learned about online marketing, and fell in love with it, frankly, and fell in love with video as the technology points that will connect with people. And I loved it so much that I stopped doing real estate, and I devoted my time to learning about video marketing, and I became a video marketer who was doing some consulting work with Estee Lauder, Dell, HarperCollins. I worked for a flash mob company at one point, helping them to get
I didn't know that,
leveraging YouTube and video. But I always had this vision and desire to create an online course. And I was learning so much about YouTube and how to get on the first page of Google with YouTube that I started building a course. And I built a course that took me like 6 months to build. I wrote a 250-page ebook. Also, probably took me another 3 or 4 months, all me doing it. All said and done, when I launched it, it was crickets. No one would buy. I was freaking out. But then I kind of went back to my roots and said, like, video marketing. Let me try this. So I put a video out on YouTube inviting people to a workshop where I'm going to show them how to get to the first page of Google leveraging YouTube. And it struck a chord somehow. People were registering for that workshop. And I had never done a workshop before. It was through Kued Webinar, and I was like super panicked and freaked out. And like, I was terrible. I also sucked big time when I did it. So I did these webinars over and over again. I didn't pitch anything, an event, and I just overshared. And even as an oversharer, even as someone who just like was paranoid of selling, I had people eventually come to me and say, hey, is there anything we can buy here? And I was like, I do this course. And they're like, great, I'll buy it. How much? $97, I guess. Sure, no problem. So they, $97, I was selling my course.
That means you didn't charge enough.
It's like, whoa. I started getting people that were really, for $97, they were asking for quite a lot, actually. Yeah. And they were like emailing me all the time. And I had a friend of mine say, Casey, you have to up your price to like at least $200. So I upped it to $200. I did a webinar with him, a joint venture webinar, and I sold $2,000 worth of my product. And I thought, whoa, this is amazing. But I had a high refund rate. And he was like, it's because of the fact that when you price your products too low, unfortunately, you get sort of the bottom of the barrel, so to speak. People that will want more of your time, and they'll think they need more than than you have. And so I was like, and I said, what do I have to do? He said, up your price to $1,000. So I upped my price to $1,000. And I offered a coaching piece to this, like a intake call and maybe like 3 weeks of coaching or something on a weekly basis. And that worked awesomely. I was able to start converting those webinar attendees at 10% conversion into my $1,000 course. And for me, I only needed 30 people showing up to my webinar a week for me to be able to get my house out of foreclosure and to generate a revenue that was almost the same as what I did when I was in real estate. And so that first year of being a course creator, I was able to do that. And it was all because of webinars. And that's at the time I was running so many live webinars that I went to some developers and I said, hey, is there a way that we can automate this process? And they said, sure. How do you want to do it? I was like, well, can we create some sort of like automated webinar thing that works through WordPress? And they were like, okay. And so we built the first WordPress automated webinar solution. And then from there, our software technology was born, and then it sort of evolved into this overall technology, basically, that does live webinars, automated webinars, et cetera, et cetera. But we got there because I had a passion about webinars. I saw it work in my business, and that's what Henry and I resonate on. We know webinars work. We've seen it with countless clients and customers. And of course, I have my own, personal experiences where webinars saved my house. It saved my marriage, frankly, and it allowed me to do, to grow a family. Allowed me to. I have 2 adopted sons. I have a daughter, and I wouldn't have been able to do any of that if I didn't have some high leverage asset that does the work for me while I could be doing some other things. So. Webinars became very important to me in my life, in just being able to communicate my message, build that interpersonal connection with my audience, and simply let them know what I have to offer them to solve their problems, basically. So anyway, I went on a tangent, but I hope it was okay.
No, it's great. No, it's good. It's great. No, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm going through just the updated, just kind of going through messages here and see if anyone has any questions as we're going along. But it seems like everyone is Ashley such is from Naperville, which is awesome. I'm in Highland Park actually right now, which is funny, or not too far. So yeah, Casey, I guess we can go in a couple different directions. I know I have our reoccurring presentation that we do around driving more leads and around the webinars. On the other hand, we also missed our opportunity to do our live event, our live stream on Friday, right? So we cover a lot of the same content in both conversational and presentation, in a presentational format. So if you want, we can if you wanted me to jump right into the presentation, or if you wanted to kind of talk through the different strategies, and we can work through what's worked for us and what hasn't, and how we thought about making the shift to help generate more leads. I'll let you kind of just decide on that.
Well, we always do, every single week we do a presentation. And by the way, do you hear an echo on your side when I talk?
You have Restream up, so I muted Restream. I muted that tab, so that will get rid of the echo.
Yeah, can I just close my tab? No, I can't do that. How do I?
Just right click it, and then right click the tab in Google, and then it'll say mute site, and then you can mute your site right there.
Oh, and just like
yeah, because no one else hears the echo but you.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll go out here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, let's do it. That sounds good. Yeah. Uh, right. Cool. Right. Yeah. I'll do yeah, sure. I'll do a quick one because I know we're doing the live stream and we've got a couple. We got new people in here and stuff. So yeah, so as far as me, my name's Henry, one of the founders of Jet Video Technologies and Business Hangouts. So over the last probably 7 years now, I've been doing this for a long time. A big part of how we've been able to grow the company is actually by helping clients who are not only using our technology but wanted additional help on the marketing side, right? So we've actually worked with a lot of clients where we can help generate more leads online, help turn that into more sales. And that's really what the whole goal of what our platforms are built for, but people just needed that additional service, right? And so we've been able to produce a lot of multiple 6 and 7 figure businesses for our customers using our technology. We've had over 3 million downloads in the Google Marketplace as far as business hangouts, and so that's kind of why Casey and I came together, because we both saw this major opportunity in the video and in the webinar space to really help get more people online, get more exposure, and have an evergreen system to generate more leads and sales. Yeah, totally. 100%. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, for the ones who are not actually in the webinar and you're watching through a live stream, if you jump into the webinar room, you will get, and for everyone who stays until the end, you will actually get a free A to Z webinar template. So we created a 63-page document that pretty much covers every piece of content that you need in order for you to be successful with webinars, right? So you've got the registration page copy, you've got different ways of how people are interacting with your events and with your webinars. You want to have more of a customized experience for each of those people that's going to have specific messaging based on their interaction with you, right? And so we cover a lot of that, but at the end of it, you're going to finally understand, okay, now I understand, the customer journey of, if person X does Y, then they get this. And so what we're doing is we're actually including the people for emails for people who did not watch, right? For people who signed up for your event but actually never showed up, right? So we'll have what happens after the event is over. Everyone has this marketing hype leading up to it. You have things that are happening during the event, but what happens after, right? So you got to have that post-event email series and abandoned cart campaigns and things like that. So, as far as, what we're talking about and how we're going to talk about how we can help you today, Casey and I have worked, really hard over the last couple of years, and we wanted to actually provide a lot of success with the clients that we were working with, because we were doing this a little bit behind the scenes, right? So we were helping people generate traffic and generate more sales through online events, right? And so sometimes as you're going through this process, you'll actually figure out, well, do I have, is it a traffic problem? Do I have a sales problem? Is it a messaging issue? And so now, Casey, and I'll let you kind of talk about this, because I know you've definitely have a lot of um, experience understanding the pain. Right, 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 right. Mhm. Right. Right. Offer. No, no, that's yeah. Right. Something. Right. Right. Awesome. Right. Mhm. Yeah, we only do it. Right, 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 right. Looks like Ashley is Ryan is they're currently doing it, which is awesome. I mean, in Ashley mentioned about having something passive income for like their recording webinars. So it's exactly what we were talking about, the auto webinar where you've and the key with that, right, is when you're doing a webinar, like the first instinct people have is like, I want to do one presentation, I want to upload it, and I want it to make me money, right? And in theory, that it sounds really good, and people come to us all the time, and people would pay us a lot of money if we promised them that one thing. But the the key with it is you have to have, if you're not able to convert and you're not able to get people to, you're not able to move the needle, right, on a live presentation, then it's very unlikely that you're going to do it on a pre-recorded video, right? So and the data, and every time you do a live event, you're collecting data. You're going to see what kind of questions people are leaving, the type of comments, the how people are responding to quizzes and polls. So you're collecting data, you're getting feedback. If you're sharing information and you're getting questions about that, what you want to do is document all of that, so then you can address it for all of your future live presentations. And then once you see people, whether it's book the call or make the purchase or whatever it is to help move that needle, then you've got something viable to record it and then automate it, because you've already pre overcome all those objections. You've already answered all of the questions that people would have. You're covering on different pain points that people are experiencing. So that's a really important thing to understand. As we're talking about this process. Right. 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 Yeah. Predictable. Right. And yeah, and I kind of want to point something out just from, because we're talking about having a complete data driven approach, right? And when you look at, every step of the process, and again, this is a very oversimplified version of what's going on, right? Because then you have, 5 different or 6 different ways of people that can interact with you in here, in the room, in the event itself, where you can have a customized sequence and journey, right? And so, what Casey's talking about is every step here. So step 1, step 2, 3, 4, there's and every time there's an arrow, there's an opportunity for someone to fall off, right? So you want to have a way to be able to, like, have these mini buckets to recapture this audience so you can get them to the next step, right? So, and because that's the ultimate goal. And this really helps put data and numbers behind what's actually happening here, because a lot of the times when we're marketing or we're promoting our business, most of the time I see a lot of people looking at their bank account and go, well, it's not really working. It's like, well, there's a lot of things that have to happen, from someone hitting your sign up page to giving you money, right? And so what this does is this helps break down, the registration traffic, the attendance traffic, the conversion data, because then from there you're able to see, okay, out of all the people who signed up, how many people showed up? Did those people come from advertising? Did they come from emails? So this is exactly what Casey's talking about. Of there's all these ways that people are going to have many yeses with you throughout this entire experience. And like for here, if we're able to see that, this was how many people were there on when we were presenting the offer, and we can actually see something very small, like, we had 75 people here, and it was an hour and 46 minutes until they saw the offer, versus here there's 124 people that we presented the offer 14 minutes earlier, and we had a much higher stick rate, right? So what does that mean for data? What do we need to use? How do we use that to make improvements for the future, right? And so that's kind of, a little bit in the weeds, but wanted to kind of give you some concepts to really consider when we're talking about all these miniature yeses that we want to get along the way. Right. Oh, that was a little what I gotta switch that. That's awesome. Oh, wow. Totally. Totally. Yeah, type it in the chat. I'm curious to see the answers. Ryan said 2 hours, 3 hours, 20 minutes. Yeah, totally. Yeah, well, and I mean, the one of the key things I wanted to point out here is the simplicity behind this. Is because like everyone talks about how overwhelming they are, how overwhelmed they are, and all these things that they have to do, and they have to figure out what goes where. I really want I want to emphasize the simplicity behind this because there is something very beautiful about it, right? You've got a very hyper targeted market, you've got a very simple ad going to a very simple sign up page, going to a calendar, right? It's I mean, you're driving people to watch a video, you're building a relationship with those people with video, and all it's doing is going to a calendar. As far as like, and I hear about a lot of people, well, I spend $1,000 or I spend $1,500 a month on managing my business technology. I mean, you're running ads, you've got a Calendly link, and you have a webinar sign up page. It's like this, and think about how much revenue he's generated because of that. So it's so important. Oh, you just use your platform extender. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. 100%. 100. Yeah, 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 and that's and it's kind of going back to the quiz question here. Was the poll question that we had was, we had two people say their issues were sales, two people said their issues was traffic, and then one said they had an offer issue. It's like, well, it'd be interesting to actually get a breakdown of the traffic people is like, what is your actual close, like, out of the number of people that you're talking to, how many people are moving forward, right? Out of, and the, the sale, like the sales question, how many sales calls how many sales calls are you generating, and how much business or how many new clients is that turning into? Because the traffic people are saying my sales isn't the issue because that's high converting, right? People on the sales side are just saying, we maybe they're being more realistic of saying we need to fix X, Y, and Z to increase our sales. And so it's, interesting to kind of look at that. And I saw there was a question from Ryan on here on advice on engaging with pre-recorded webinars, right? So between quizzes and polling and seeing different conversations and things like that. So both of our platforms are actually set up to have ongoing engagement, right? So you have a way to do, I don't know about Easy, but I know with us, you have a way to do chat with people while they're so if someone's attending your pre-recorded webinar, you can have like a chat and you can have a real-time communication with them that way. Doing polling and quiz, I think it's really important because you keep that engagement, you keep that going, and then again, you want to get as much data as you can, right? You want to build that with your relationship, and the more rapport and the more back and forth that you're getting, it's going to be better for your event, right? People want that interaction. So yeah, thank you for asking that. I know we were going to address that earlier. So if anyone else has any questions while we're in here, let us know. If you're in the restream, you can put something in the comments. I'll try to get to you in a little bit. So we'll move on to the next one. As far as David's someone that we actually work with, and he's focused around like personal and professional development. And I actually became a student and really interested, and I went to one of his in-person events out in San Diego and saw that a lot of people were actually complaining that they're like, oh, I really like his content on YouTube, but I have no way to give you money. Right. So we were like, well, let's put a plan together to help you sell some of your pre-recorded courses and your content. And, let's get more people into your, in-person events. And so we went through and helped, we set up the entire infrastructure. We helped, create webinars to fill up this room. So like everyone that you see in here, I'm not everyone, but let's say most people in here actually came through like a live or pre-recorded webinar. They bought a ticket, they showed up to his in-person events, and then from there that actually generated anywhere, he sold multiple programs between 5 and 25K, and he was getting such good feedback on it. He's like, well, what if I created, a higher ticket program? So, and then from there, we went from a 50K, 25K offer to 50K offer, from a 50K offer to a 100K offer, and actually sold multiple, $100,000 programs, which is awesome, right? And one of the things that we, and Casey and I are actually working a lot on this right now, hence why we're doing the restream and and leveraging the social media networks. We have to figure out why it was echoing on your side. We'll test that next time. But there's YouTube, from what I'm seeing from a marketing perspective, is really, really competing aggressively with TikTok. Everyone's consuming the super short form content. It's getting a little bit scary on how much more time people are spending on their devices watching, anywhere from 15-second to minute clips. But the idea is that this is actually one of the best and strongest organic strategies that you can use right now to build your audience, right? And so if you're, people are trying to figure out like, how to get more exposure, what's the next big thing coming up, I would say the short form video is the thing that's going to really help you get from, I mean, we're working with a client right now. He got so good with his shorts. He was able to build, I think he's up to like 30,000 YouTube subscribers from doing his short form content directly through like TikTok, and then repurposing it on YouTube Shorts. And it's just been growing his channel, growing his audience, and he's sold multiple $5,000 programs already using that model, pushing those people to a webinar, right? So when you're talking about promotion strategies, you've got the live strategy. You can go live right now. We're live. You've got the video ads. You have the event marketplace. So, you've got these free event directories, and we'll talk about that in a second, on all these, event marketplaces and directories where you can actually get more exposure for, for your online events. And then interviews and podcasts, right? So this whole like leveraging other people's subscribers base, having a way where you can actually add value to someone that already has this established audience, and they can kind of share the love, and those people are interested in what you have to say, and then they want to start following you, right? So there's kind of a lot of organic, and some of it is, a lot of it's relationships, right? And so, Casey, like you and I, like we liked the YouTube live strategy, but we've formed this a relationship so we can leverage both of our companies to get more exposure, right? And so that's kind of when you want to think strategically about it, there's a lot of different ways to do that for how you're positioning yourself. Right. 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 It's all getting attention is cheap. That's for sure. Or it can be. Right. 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 100%. Right. Right. 100%. Sure. Yeah. I mean, and I'm gonna get into this in a little bit, but this formula, and I talk about this with Casey a lot, is not anything new. It's nothing revolutionary. It's actually it's been applied since the first commercial on TV, almost, right? Where the structure of how you're positioning your story, yourself, your brand, and I'll go through the 5 steps in a second. You'll notice is very similar to when people are, if you're doing like a home shopping network purchase or a late night television or with a commercial, and they're trying to get you to buy this big bundle, and if you do it in the next 10 minutes, you can get free shipping, or so they give you all, and then they talk about all these other people that really love the product. And so all these different areas of what I'm going to be covering has been used for the last 50 years to sell products, to sell services, and the mediums of how we're delivering the video is the thing that's changed. But the content of how to get someone from a viewer to a buyer has almost not changed at all. It's just been there's been more attention put on it. I guess you can put it that way, right? So, would you agree with that, Casey? Right, 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 right. Right. It's it's like, I see Ryan, he put a comment in here, selling piano courses within a bundle, right? So as well as books and books, and he's got lessons for doing like higher ticket bundles. So if you're, and this is a great example, it's like if you're trying to sell, um, if you're trying to go through and sell a course and show people how to become a better piano, a better penis, I guess you'd call it, right? I hope I'm saying that right. And you want to become, yeah, okay, become a better piano player, right? They're not going to go and give you their best strategies and the best way to, and how to actually go and play piano. They're talking about hopefully overcoming the model, or overcoming the hurdle that people have of trying to figure out what to do first, what's the mindset to have around it, how what's the what do they need to do to kind of get started, what are other success stories that people that have had going through the course, right? Not, okay, let's do a lesson and let's show you what key X, Y, or Z is. They're not going to do that, right? So that's kind of more of a literal example from that standpoint. So, and this and so this, I mean, this whole thing is around just keeping it, super simple, stupid, whatever you want to call it. And you don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? And that's kind of the whole idea is we're just trying to we want to have one system that we're able to manage from beginning to end, but we don't want to overcomplicate things by adding too many steps in the process. We want to start with fewer steps so we can have some sort of infrastructure in place. And then from there, then you can see where the different drop-off points are. But those are less things for you to focus on, which is a higher scale of improvement, right? So you're able to make those changes faster because you're managing less things at a time. And then yeah, go ahead. Right. Right. I don't think you gave it away. I don't think you gave it away. I think you tricked everyone. At least you tricked it. Maybe you tricked Ashley. Yeah. Yeah. You got it. One home shopping network, one QVC. So it is actually what happened to my slides here? QVC, right? Um, and there was actually a famous watch company that my recording stopped on my backup recording stopped. So there was actually a watch company. I have to pull up the watch company, their name, but basically what they did was they had some dead air time after there was this. I'm definitely too young to know what was the one television channel that everyone was watching back in the 50s. But there was dead airtime after that show was over. And what this company wanted to do was buy the dead airtime. And so they did that. And so that watch company that did that in the 50s is actually still around, and they're still a big company. I need to add that because I keep forgetting it. But this is kind of the whole idea of like selling and growing your brand and getting more exposure through video has always been the model, right? And that's what people are doing. And we're seeing a lot of Fortune 50, Fortune 10, Fortune 500 companies that are taking a very similar model, because now you have QVC, and then you have now Alibaba is really big on this, where they're going to be doing billions and billions of dollars of sales online through live presentations. And so the way, again, that what we're selling isn't really changing, but the mediums are, right? And so they started on television, right? Now from television, we're going from to our phones, to social media, to individual apps, to having individual companies have their own, distribution networks, and that's really what it's going to all that's what it's going to be about. So, here's the what QVC and the webinar presentations have in common. And so when you're thinking about buying something, Brad, I mean, when you think about when was the last time you actually bought something where you didn't have to look up a bunch of reviews before you made that decision? I don't even know. It's like, I mean, think about when we were even, if you go to a restaurant now, how many 4 or 5 star reviews need to be there before you decide that's a good enough restaurant for? Is it 100? Is it 200? Is it 50? It's like, it's wild. But I remember, back in the day, it's someone would walk out of a restaurant. You say, oh, it looks like they might know what good food tastes like. Is it any good? Yeah, it's great. What do I get? And then you walk in the restaurant. But now it's just totally different. And this whole concept of, buying off a webinar or buying off a video, it's not a new concept. And like what I'm saying, or like what I was saying, you've got, QVC, and you've got, Alibaba, and these big companies are really picking up on the fact that if they help bring up an individual person and they help promote an individual person to sell more of their products, that's going to be the future, right? And when you look at like Amazon, if you go to amazon.com/live, it is a complete live marketplace of Amazon promoting individuals, because people aren't buying from brands, right? They're not buying from mascots. They're not buying from logos. They are buying from the trust comes from the brand, but you're not buying because of, the best example is insurance, you've got like the Geico, and, and they do all the commercials with them, but those kind of personalities are really fading off. And you look at companies over the last, probably 10 or 15 years, even like McDonald's, they got rid of the whole Ronald McDonald thing. It's not really about that. It's not about buying from the mascot. So it's about, who are these individuals that we actually like and trust, that are representing the brand that will buy from us. And so that's the direction that we're going down. And if you go to Walmart, you'll see, Jessica Alba, who's a, she has, I think her company is called Honest, where it's all chemical free products for cleaning her house. That company went public, but she's on Walmart.com/live promoting her products, right? So because people are trying to buy directly from them, from someone that they like and trust. And so Macy's is doing it, Amazon is doing it, Walmart's doing it, and you're going to be seeing this trend grow a lot over the next decade. So Casey, if you want to jump into it. Right. Right. I think we both have. We probably 7 figures of mistakes. Right. Right. Totally. Yeah, I mean, when and part of this is, I like to look at, because when you're talking about integrating, you're talking about integrating a marketing vehicle into your business, right? And so different companies have different strengths and different weaknesses. And so part of this is, we're not, I actually, part of this call is you're going to be sharing like your websites and your links, because one way or another, we're going to give you the structure, the blueprint, the plan. And one way or another, if you want us to help with that or not, you're going to at least have something in place where you can look at and be like, okay, this is the feedback from an outside perspective of who sees my business from a 30,000-foot view, not me who's in the weeds in your business all the time. So you're going to have that perspective. You're going to have more of like a breakdown of how are we able to really kind of split up the different pieces of what's important. What's the first thing that we should focus on that's going to produce the most amount of results with the least amount of effort, and then where do we go from there, right? And so you continue to do that, and then as you start knocking out those marketing objectives, right, the work becomes a little bit more difficult, right? But the first thing is you want to focus on the low hanging fruit from an online perspective. How many people are visiting your website and leaving? How many people are going to your book a call or sales page and leaving? What are you doing to actually re-engage with those people? So that's kind of the first thing. And then I kind of work backwards from there and really understand the customer journey, the customer experience, the sales process. Because I see that two people on here have traffic, two people have sales, and one person has offer. So I want to actually go through those three different points. Let's see the traffic. How are people actually, once they hit your page, what happens? What happens when someone is trying to buy from you? Where's the break there? What's the feedback on what people have to say about your offer? Why is that? Should it be more expensive? Should it be less expensive? So I like to kind of go through that. And then as we're kind of breaking it down of all the different things that we can do to help you, it's we want to really give you again the full monetization system for you've got there's all these different technical components, right? You've got the landing pages, you've got your landing page or registration pages, you've got thank you pages, you've got emails, you have you need like a replay process, you need a replay page, you have to have a way to upload your video. So there's kind of this technical infrastructure that people are looking for, and they have their brand, they know what the vision and all that's going to look like. I'll bring this back up here, and they have the brand and vision of what everything's going to look like, but how do we actually put that, how do we put that into a complete plan for you to actually take action on? What are the individual steps that we can do to really help you move that forward, right? And so we'll definitely be talking about that. We want to help with like your email sequences. We want to help with the there's like the get in now, so we want to add some like scarcity. We want to get people excited, we want people to engage, and then once you're actually there and ready to promote the event, we'll go through and have different ways and different trigger points to get people to actually take action. There's helping with the overlay of the call to actions, your subject lines, your headlines. So we want to help and just kind of give you a good strategy and a good model for the copy. Again, help with the breakdown of the registration and landing pages. So if we do actually work together, like we can, we'll give you the blueprint of like what you need in order to take this and help deliver on it. But again, if you want us to actually go and do all of these things, by the end of the call, we can actually do all of these different pieces for you as well. So you don't have to kind of get overwhelmed with all the work that goes into it, right? And so you've got, the thank you pages, you got all the inputs that are required for the thank you page, thank you email. We want to help get your CRM set up, right? So if you're going to have different ways where people are interacting with you, you want to have different lists, different tags. If someone visited your website, you want to be able to see what content are they engaging with, what's, because the marketing process is not linear. They're not going to, a page and then they're going to sign up and pay, right? There's all these different ways that people are engaging with you, and they're going to do their own research, right? They're going to be able to they're going to look online. Maybe they leave and they see an ad of yours, but you have to be in front of someone more than just 7 times before they purchase. I know that's the golden marketing rule. How many times you need to be in front of someone before they buy? And so what we want to do is really help integrate all these different components, so you're in front of them 27 times. So they're going to either buy or they're going to go through and unsubscribe, because if they unsubscribed, they weren't going to buy in the first place, right? And so that's kind of really important when you're talking about strategy, how you're positioning yourself to the market, right? And so we've got the email sequences that we're going to help include, the 4-part email sequence, the sorry we missed you if you didn't show up, and then after the event is over, you want to have more of like an encore. You want to have this, how do you continue to re-engage with them? So helping set up the plan and the structure for that. So again, there's a lot of different ways that we can kind of help integrate all this in for you. Because between Casey and I, whatever we actually provide on, the service side, if you do decide to go with us, we'll definitely include the webinar software in there. So it's, you got one cohesive plan. And again, you're having someone help from, A to Z. So the actual strategy, generating the traffic, going and understanding the sales process, helping you and actually dissecting that. And then what do we need to do to help increase your conversion? So really like a kind of a marketing arm to, give you more exposure and more sales for your business, all done through video. Right. Totally. Right. 100%. Right. 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 It is your baby. You're right. 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 Yeah, absolutely. And if while everyone's here, if you have any questions, feel free to put any questions in the chat. I can stick around for a couple more minutes. Um, but yeah, I see some people have signed up already, which is awesome. So excited to have you uh, join that audit. And if you're here till the end, we will let me know. Put in the chat if you want that A to Z webinar giveaway as well. But if no one has any questions, we will close this up. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. We'll stick around. But yeah, Ashley, thank you so much for joining. I see a few other people sticking around. Doug, RJ. Yeah, again, let me know if you guys have questions in here. But if not, we are going to hop off. It is Casey's daughter's birthday today. He's got to get some precious time. Speaking of the family. Um, but no, looks like we are all set. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. We appreciate it. I'm coming right now. Absolutely. Thank you. You'll get the email, everyone. So awesome. Cool. All right, we'll talk soon. Thanks. Bye.